back at the Yoga Temple, where we'll be guiding you through 60 minutes of nice, sweet, juicy yin practice. Harmt is here to show you the poses, and I'm here to guide you through. So, because you're in a home situation and you might not have like the bolsters, the block, the pillows, just grab anything you think that's helpful for extra support. So you can grab a pillow from the couch, maybe your pillow from bed, maybe you have some books, and make sure you have a blanket. A blanket is really easy to roll up and or to fold up, so you can place it under in whatever pose you need it. So for now, if you've grabbed all your stuff, come and sit on the floor with a block under the sit bones, or maybe a blanket under the sit bones. Then resting your hands on the legs, allowing the arms to relax, become heavy. Just let the elbows sink down. And then close your eyes and bring your attention inwards. And then first, just see how you're sitting here. We tend to lean a little bit forwards, so maybe you can bring the upper body a little bit more backwards until you feel that the sit bones are straight into the floor. And then make sure you have space in the chest, so every inhale just lift the chest a little bit up. Make sure your lower back is relaxed. Maybe you have still some thoughts going on in your mind, some stories, maybe things happening. And see if you can come towards your body. And feeling how the feet are touching the mat or the floor or the carpet if you sit on the carpet. It really helps to bring the attention away from all the thinking. If you sink into the body towards your heart area, chest area, maybe your hips, or just start with the foundation, your feet. And breath is natural. And before we start practice, we'll be chanting Om 3 times. So bringing hands together in front of the chest. Exhale all the air out through the nose, emptying out. And inhale deeply, filling up the chest. Take a moment to dedicate your practice. Dedicate it to something that pops in right away, just following your intuition. And whenever you're ready, bringing your hands to the knees and open up your eyes. And then if you're sitting on a block or something else, pull it away from under you, but keep the block or the book if you have it nearby, because we're going to start really slowly with the block under the head. So you can just come lay down and then place the block on the edge of your skull. So there are two knobs at the edge of the skull, and you want to rest those knobs on the block. For my body, it's nice to place the block like halfway up, and then just take some time to find a spot that's helping for you. So make sure that the block is not in your neck, but it's really on the bony part of your head. And then you can place your arms alongside the body, relax the legs. Maybe you already now feel that you're holding tension. And as soon as you are becoming aware of that, you can let everything go. So relax the muscles in your neck, allowing the head to rest on that block or book. And then slowly, when the exhale comes, just roll your head towards the left. And then on the inhale, rolling the head back up. And then on the exhale, rolling the head towards the other side. And just continue doing that, maybe every time going slower and slower. So sometimes we bring the block a little bit too low on the head, and then it's not really comfortable. So it should be super comfortable. Sometimes it helps to bring the block a little bit more high up, but make sure that the book or the block is firmly on the floor. Softening your lips, softening your face. Now with this rolling over the block, might help to empty out your thoughts a bit. And help you come into this more quiet state. And legs are relaxed. You can just leave the feet where they fall, so probably they fall open. For most of us it's most comfortable to bring the heels a little bit apart, but for some it's more comfortable to bring them more in. And just finding that spot where you can relax most. So next time you're coming up with your head, just lift the head away from the block, and then you can place the block away, resting the head on the floor. And then with the head on the floor, also start to roll from left to right. So you're only using that much of muscles you need to roll the head over from one side to the other side. And see if you can really reduce the amount of engagement of the muscles. So shoulders are relaxed, the shoulder blades just resting on the floor. And then when you're back in the middle, we're going to the first yin pose, and it's going to be banana asana. So you can just leave the hips where they are, and then you walk your legs to the left side, bringing the legs together. And then you can also tiger your upper body towards the left side. So you come into a whole curve like a banana shape. And the target area here is the side of the body. So some people feel it more around the hips, some people more upper body, other people more the lower body. You can bring your arms overhead if you like, and then you can with your left hand pull the right arm even more into a bend, and then you can relax the arms again. So make sure the arms are resting on the floor to make sure that they're not falling asleep, not getting numb. And if you want to make the pose a little bit more intense, you can also place the right leg over the left. But maybe you already feel enough and then you just stay here, because in the yin we want to choose the middle way. We don't want a stretch or any sensations that are too much, too loud, and we also don't want it to be too soft or too little. So you want to go into a place where you can stay for a couple of minutes, where you're able to relax. And if you go too intense, then it's going to be really hard to relax in the pose, and it becomes a little bit of torture, and that's not the idea. You're searching for a little bit of discomfort, but it should be bearable, because we want to befriend the body. We don't want to bring unhealthy stress to it. So while you're in the pose, just scan the body if you're totally relaxed, if you're not holding any muscles contracted, engaged. The right sit bone just coming towards the floor. And staying here for 3 more breaths. After your 3rd breath, if you have your leg over the other leg, then first bring the right foot back to the floor. Just coming slowly out of the practice. And then gently wiggle the legs back to the middle of the mat. And also wiggle your upper body back to the middle. And see where you want to leave the arms for your rebound. And sometimes it's also good after this pose to check if you're really laying straight, because now you're lengthening, you have lengthened one side of the body, so you think you're laying straight and then you're like still in this small curve. Then here in this rebound, which we call pentacle in yin, you have all the time to feel, experience the effects of the pose. So it will bring you totally inside of the body. Being aware of the physical sensations. Maybe also feeling the energetic effects. And then we go towards the other side. So keep the hips where they are, and then this time just wiggle your legs to the right side. And then also wiggle your upper body towards the right side until you find that curve that's most beneficial for your body on this side. So maybe on this side you need some more or a little bit less. And then bringing arms overhead if you like, and then you can pull on the left arm with your right to bring it more into a curve, but then make sure that you relax the arms again so they're not getting numb. And if you like, you can bring the left leg over the right leg if you need some more stretch on the left side of the body. Left hip, just let it sink down towards the floor. And then finding somewhere over the left side a nice stretch. If you have your arms overhead, you can also might feel it in the arm, in the armpit. Just see for yourself what's most clearly there. And then resting, becoming still and just focusing on the sensations in the body. So while Harmt is here, and while you're hopefully also in this banana asana, I'll tell you some more guidelines which you can follow every time you come into a yin pose. So the first step is to take your time to find your edge, the place where you feel resistance, the place where you feel a stretch, a twist, a compression is happening. And then sometimes in some poses you might need some support, so that's why we have blocks, we have all the props at home, the pillows, the cushions, the blankets. And then after you find a pose that's not too much, not too loud, and also not too little, not too soft, then you become quiet. Quiet in the body, so no movement anymore. And the mind goes into all the sensations happening. And even though we want to stay for a couple of minutes in the pose, sometimes the body reacts when you go into a pose. Pose can feel like really intense, and then maybe after a minute or so, the body starts to relax more. And so sometimes halfway a pose, or you need some more, so feel free to change the pose throughout the practice, throughout the time you're in this pose, but do it with full awareness, so really slowly. Also the other way around can happen. The pose can also become more and more intense while you're in it. So sometimes you also need to back out a little bit. So also feel free to come a little bit out of the pose if it becomes too intense. But it's better to stay in the pose throughout the time, and then a little bit less, than stay into the pose for a shorter time and really intense. And of course, if you feel pain anywhere, that's not what we're aiming for. So if you feel pain, then come out. So last breath on this side. And then slowly bringing the left leg back to the floor, and then wiggling back towards the middle of the mat. Bringing arms either above or beside your body. And then relax completely, focusing on whatever presents itself here. Beautiful aspect of yin practice is that we take time to feel the effects of poses after a pose. It's not that it should be after every pose, but I tend to build it in because it's so nice to just stay still for a moment to experience it. So for the next pose, we're going to target the outside of the hip or the glute, the bill spear. And there are two options here. You can go to eye of the needle or you can go to sleeping swan. So first show you eye of the needle. No, let's first show you sleeping swan. So just bring your knees to your chest. And then bring the soles of the feet up to the sky, placing your hands under your hips. If you have lower back issues, this is a nice way to support the lower back. And then slowly let the legs sink towards the floor. And then halfway down, just push your elbows in the floor so you can really sit up easily. And then sweep your legs backwards. And then we go to sleeping swan on the right side first. So bringing your right knee forwards. And then you can place it in the middle, you can place it a little bit more to the right side of your mat. And then the left leg sliding backwards. And then check if your knee is still fine, coming down towards the floor. And if you need, you can support the right hip or the left with a blanket or a block. And you can maybe also place a cushion, a pillow or anything else under the upper body. So you can really rest here in this sleeping swan pose. And then maybe you have to let your right hip sink a little bit to the right side, or your left hip sinking to the left side, until you feel a stretch over the right side of your hip buttocks. So somewhere here you should feel it. And because every body is different, maybe you need something else. Some people feel it sooner or more in the hamstring or the back side of the leg, or maybe even the inside. But give yourself some time to come to that right side of the hip. So really important here is that you are not feeling it in the knee. If you feel it in the knee, then we go to another option, and that's eye of the needle. So Garnt is going to show you eye of the needle. If you're okay in sleeping swan, just stay in sleeping swan. If you want to come to eye of the needle, then come lay down on your back, bend your knees, and then place the right heel above your left knee. And then you can interlace your fingers behind your hamstring or behind your shin, whatever is most comfortable for you. And then you bring the legs into your body. Yes. And then again here you can shift the legs a little bit to find that stretch over the right side of the butt. So maybe a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. Just experiment, even by going left or right only a centimeter, that the shift can be really big. Until you find that stretch where you want to stay. And then you become quiet again. So in eye of the needle you need some more yang, some more power in your arms. But see if you can relax at the place where you feel the stretch is happening. So you can breathe into that area. And then with every exhale, just soften it. So we're going to stay here for a little bit longer, because maybe you've gone out of sleeping swan into this eye of the needle. And so we want to stay here for 3 minutes the least. Now if you want to stay for longer, you can also use this video to pause it. Set your own timer, maybe to 5 minutes. Maybe 6 minutes if you're doing this more often. And then you can go with us for the next pose. So you can adjust your practice at home. And last 3 breaths here. Now Garnt will stay in eye of the needle. And I will come out of sleeping swan. So if you're in sleeping swan, then slowly start to roll up, placing your hands under your shoulders. And then tucking the toes of your back foot, so you can easily bring the right leg backwards. And then coming to sleeping swan on the other side. So bringing the left knee forward, sliding the right leg backwards. And then see what you need. Maybe you want to bring the knee more to the left. Maybe you want to bring the right foot more forwards. And then feel when you're coming down, if you can get to that left buttocks, the left glutes. And again, maybe prop yourself up with a blanket under the left hip or something under the right leg. Maybe a bolster or pillow under the upper body. And then sink in. If you're in eye of the needle, then place the right foot back on the floor. And then bring the left ankle just above your right knee. And then again interlacing fingers behind your hamstrings or your shins. Placing the left hand in the triangle you've created in between the legs. And then also here start to search for the right position. So maybe pulling the legs a little bit more in, or maybe with your left arm you can pull that or push that left knee a little bit towards the more open. And you can also shift a little bit from left to right till you feel that you've reached the target area in the left buttocks. And then once you're there, becoming quiet again, going in with your attention, and then feeling the sensations and how they evolve. So in the yin we're working on different levels. We're working on the physical level because we're stretching, twisting, compressing tissues. But we're also stimulating the meridians that run through the body, these rivers of energy. And we're also working on emotional level. Sometimes when we stay in a pose, when we stretch certain parts of the body, emotions can come up. So just see what happens for you. And it's okay that certain poses will bring up a lot of noise in the head, because that's also interesting to observe. And while you're in the pose, you have all the time to become aware of them. And staying here for the last 3 breaths. And after your 3rd breath, slowly coming out of the pose. So if you're in sleeping swan, slowly rolling up, and pushing yourself up and bringing the legs backwards, and then choose to come to pentacle either on your belly or on your back. And taking the rebound here, just tune into whatever is happening. Maybe you feel more physical sensations like warmth spreading. Maybe you feel more the energy flowing when you come out of a pose. Or maybe even thoughts coming up. All is good. And then bring your knees to your chest. And then slowly rolling over to the right side. And then through the right side, making your way up. And the next pose is going to be dragonfly. So in dragonfly you can open up the legs. The legs are completely relaxed, not using the muscle. So for some people the feet fall in, for other people feet fall out. And then you can come forwards. So if you have lower back issues, make sure you first lift up and then come forwards with a straight spine until you stop by itself, and then you can round. If your back is fine, then you can start rolling down already. So for some, it's nice to, as Harmt is showing, to place a blanket under the sit bones so it's easier to tilt forwards. And if you feel it in the knee, if you feel it at the back of your knee, then it's really nice to roll up a blanket and support the knee. And then coming forwards, you want to feel stretch happening on the inside of the legs. And as you're rounding, you might also feel stretch happening on the back. There are many tissues there. And as you round it, you're also stretching all those tissues between the ribs. You can use something under your arms, under your belly. You can even prop yourself up with the block if you don't want to let your head hang down so much. Or anything else you have at home. And then the arms are totally relaxed, shoulders hang down. And check again if your legs are fully relaxed. If you can relax your arms, let the arms be heavy. So arms are not doing anything. You're using the weight of the upper body and the gravitational pull to create this stretch in the body. So effortlessness. Feeling the soles of the feet softening. Softening your mouth, maybe just let your mouth fall open a bit. And if you're maybe struggling, because a yin pose can be a struggle, staying in a pose for some time, and then especially at home when you're not in a group, you have all these possibilities to escape. And see if you can use the breath as a tool to stay. So whenever you have this urge to step out, just give yourself 3 more breaths, like focusing on lengthening the exhale. The exhale is connected to letting go and surrender. And the yin practice is all about surrendering and letting go. It's a great gift to have some time to really go inwards. Lots of messages are coming by on Facebook, and one of the messages I saw lately was, the only way out is in. And that reminded me of Anthony Prem's book, The Only Way Out is In. And then I opened it and found a really beautiful poem from Osho. So with the next pose I will read it to you, little cliffhanger. Taking 3 more breaths. Taking time to let the breath in and out be really there. Be really deep. And then after your 3rd breath, super slowly rolling up, also noticing all the sensations you're feeling when you come out of the pose. And then you can bring the legs back to the mat if you're laying on the mat. And come and lay down in pentacle again. See if you can move as little as possible, so the effects of the pose, they stay really pure. Next pose will be a back bend. So if you have something stable to place under your sacrum, then you can come to pontoon bridge. If you don't have something that's really stable, then roll over to your belly and come to Sphinx pose. Ga je naar pontoon bridge of ga je naar Sphinx?
Bridge.
Bridge. Okay. So Garnt is going to show pontoon bridge. For that you can bend your knees, lift your hips up, and then place the stable whatever you have under the sacrum. So the sacrum is the flat bone just above your butt crack. And then you can keep your knees bent if you already feel enough of compression in the lower back. But if you also want to add a nice stretch over the front of the body, you can lengthen out the legs one by one and then see how it is there. So in case you place the block too high and the stretch is now becoming too intense, you can always bend the knees again and then stay there, or make the thing you have under you a little bit less high and then return back to the pontoon bridge with straightened legs. So whatever is most convenient for you. If you don't have anything stable, then you can come into Sphinx pose or seal pose. So in that case you come and lay down on your belly, placing your underarms on the floor, the legs are relaxed, and then see if you can find a sweet, juicy compression in the lower back. So just feel for yourself where you want to be. Maybe the elbows under the shoulders is too much, then just place the arms a little bit more forwards, resting the lower ribs to the floor. If you're here and you don't feel that much, you can open up your arms and then straighten the arms and come into seal pose. But give your body some time to settle in. Sometimes when you just come in, you don't feel much yet. So just start to relax then, relax everything, the muscles, and then check if it's okay here or if you need something else. So if you're in Sphinx or in Seal, you can choose to let your head hang down, keep it up or bring it backwards, or even change that throughout the pose. If you're in pontoon bridge, make sure that the legs are completely relaxed. And every time you let go a little bit more, you also allow the stretches that are taking place in the body to be felt more. So belly is relaxed in Sphinx, Seal or in pontoon bridge. You might feel it coming up and down. It's moving on your natural breathing. We're going to stay for 1 more minute and feel if you can stay where you are now, or if you want to come a little bit more out, or maybe go a little bit deeper. But be gentle for yourself. Last 3 breaths here. And then after your 3rd breath, if you're in pontoon bridge, bend the knees, place the feet on the floor so you can just lift a little bit up, enough to remove the thing under you, and then super slowly rolling down, first upper back, middle back, lower back, then hips down. If you're in Sphinx or Seal, just slowly, super slowly coming all the way down to the floor. And then whenever you feel ready, straightening the legs, and then receiving the rebound. And one of my teachers, he really tells in a beautiful way also the mental effects that can take place and the emotional effects. So she tells that, like, you can look at the connective tissue, which we're focusing on in the yin. You can see it as if there are like many ice cubes in there. And then by stretching, compressing or twisting, all these ice cubes are melting down. And in these ice cubes, memories, emotions can be locked up. And then as the ice is melting, also all these thoughts, memories, emotions can come up. So that can also be the effect of a yin pose when you're resting in the rebound in pentacle. Sometimes it also happens while you're in a pose. And then we go to the twist, but first we're gonna settle the back a little bit, so just bring your knees in. Wrap your arms around the legs. And then you can choose to roll from left to right, or maybe you want to make circles. In that case, you can place your hands over the legs and then start to push the knees away from you and then pull them back in. It's a nice way to massage the lower back and the sacrum. And if you make circles, make sure you're also making circles the other way around. And then we're ready for the twist. So I'm going to show you 2 options. The first one is the more simple twist. So you can place the feet on the floor. Keep the knees together, or if you want to go for a more intense twist, you can wrap the right leg over the left. And then place your hips, shift your hips a little bit to the right side of the mat. And then let the knees come to the left. Sometimes it helps to shift the left shoulder a little bit away from you. And also placing a block, a cushion, a blanket under the leg. Maybe you have something heavy you want to place on top of the leg. So here you stay in twisted roots. And if you want to go for a more complicated pose, then you can come to cat still. So in that case, first coming up, so we're gonna show from the beginning. Come and lay down flat on the floor, with the legs flat. And then rolling over to your right side. Then bring the top leg, the left leg, forwards and on the floor. You can keep the left leg bent, or you can straighten it out. And then you bring your right heel towards your butt. And then with the left hand, grab your ankle. And then see if you can shift the right leg a little bit more backwards. So you feel also a stretch over the quadriceps, the thighs. And then place the right hand in front of your face, with the arm stretched out. And then rolling over towards your left shoulder. And then you can lift up the right shoulder blade. And then maybe look over your left shoulder or look up towards your ceiling. And then staying here in a different twist. Yeah, Garnt is touching his or grabbing his left foot as well. It's a nice way to have some balance between the arms. And you can dose the amount of stretch on your left thigh. So the more you bring your left knee backwards, the more you're also opening up the front of the thighs. Ah, Garnt is asking for the cliffhanger. I almost forgot. Okay, here it is. I'm gonna do the second side because now I've explained this one. So while you're here in the twist, just for the last 2 minutes, sink into all the sensations you're feeling right now. Staying here for 3 more breaths. And after your 3rd breath, coming out of the pose, if you're in cat pulling its tail, releasing your hands. If you're in twisted roots or knees together, turning back towards the back side of your body. And then taking a breath there in the middle, short pentacle. So becoming aware of differences between the right side and the left side. Especially with these asymmetrical poses, and you can really discern the effects on each side of the body. It's time for the other side and the cliffhanger. So coming into the twist, choose the twist you like to do on the other side. So maybe twisted roots, maybe just the knees together. So if you're in twisted roots, then you bring your left leg over your right leg, then shift the hips to the right side and the knees they go to the left. And if you want to go to cat pulling its tail, then first come and lay down on your left side with the legs straight and placing the top leg forwards, either with the leg straight or bent. And then you bend the lower leg, the right leg. You grab the foot, maybe also the left foot, and then you turn open so the chest faces the ceiling. And then settling into this twist on the other side. It's a beautiful expression of being flexible because you're rotating the spine. And at the same time, if you have your arms like open or like cactus armen, it also shows that you welcome this flexibility. So whatever happens in life, being flexible and being open for changes is really helpful. So the piece from Osho is probably in every time a really nice one, but see how it comes in at this moment. In your living room, sleeping room, wherever you're laying. Just see if you can listen from the heart, not so much from the mind, so not analyzing, thinking too much about it. There is no need to leave the world. The world is a perfectly good place as a fire test. What is needed is to go in, not to go somewhere out. Once and for all, it should be clear that the future cannot depend on the escapists. The authentic man will live in the world without being disturbed by all kinds of disturbances. He will simply be a watcher. In fact, the world is a good place because it gives you an opportunity to test your silence, your meditativeness, your watchfulness. Be in the world, but don't be of it. Be in the world, but don't let the world be in you. Staying here for 3 more breaths. And after your 3rd breath, releasing your feet if you're in cat pulling its tail. If you're in roots, twisted roots, then turning towards your backside and come and lay down in pentacle again. Allowing the body to rest and receive the gift of the asana. So from here we're sliding into the last resting pose, Shavasana. So maybe you're already laying perfectly as you're laying here. Or maybe you want to use a blanket to stay warm. Maybe you have something heavy, you can place it on your belly for some extra grounding. Or maybe place something under your knee pits. If you have sensitive lower back, that's a really nice way to relax the lower back. So make sure that you're completely comfortable here with the arms open and away from the body, the hand palms facing up. And if you feel that you're laying on the edges of your shoulder blades, then just gently bring them more down and towards each other, so that your chest stays open. Allowing the shoulders, the tops of the shoulders to sink down. So when you're ready, taking 3 more breaths. So 3 deep inhales where you really fill up the lungs, and then exhale everything out through the mouth with a big sigh. And then doing that 2 more times, deeply inhaling. And then let it all out through the mouth. And then with the last one, as if you're surrendering towards the mat, towards the floor, towards the earth. Allowing the body to become super heavy. And then it's just time to take rest.